It started off, folks, with the legendary coaches, Paul W. Bear Bryan and General Robert Neyland. We've gone down to Nick Saban and another one of his former assistants, Jeremy Pruitt. It is Alabama-Tennessee week, the game Saturday. Bryant-Denny Stadium, 8 p.m. Central Time kickoff. First night game of the season. And if you are craving the preview, you've come to the right place. Hottest form of Alabama football news, notes, and information. This right here, in my own words, the podcast with yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. As always, people, if you've been enjoying the content that's on this show, please give the show a like, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe as we continue to push to give you the absolute best in Crimson Tide news, notes, and information. But today, got a great show planned out for you. But before we dive into that, this show sponsored by Title Towel, our good friends at WhitwillSports.com. Title Towel, the rally towel with benefits for the avid Alabama sports fan. It's only $9.99. Lasts a lifetime. So people, you got that pride and purpose for your Crimson Tide for Nick Saban. Be sure to twirl that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care, getting a couple of those from our guys at WhitwillSports.com. But two special guests join the hotline right now. We'll start this thing off with my man Trey Wallace, who covers the Tennessee Volunteers for Fox Sports out of Knoxville. That is 105.7 on the FM dial, 1340 on the AM dial. We'll touch on Rocky Top with him, and then we'll catch up with my man Justin Smith, the scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama Magazine, as big recruiting weekend for the Tide. But we bring in my man Trey Wallace right now. Trey, happy to finally get you on here. I had talked with 3 different Tennessee guys trying to get somebody here on with me. Happy that you chose to take on the task of joining me.
No, Stephen, it's good to be on, buddy. I hope everybody is well down in my great state of Alabama, and I'm sure people are listening all over the country. But, man, it's a pleasure to be on with you, brother.
Excited to have Trey Wallace on here once again from Fox Sports in Knoxville, 105.7 FM, 1340 on the AM dial. Well, Trey, you and I deeply involved in this rivalry. Of course, you're covering it from the Tennessee side. I'm covering it from the Crimson Tide's aspect, a rivalry that goes back deep. As I mentioned, get into the show from Paul Bear Bryan and General Neyland to right now, you're looking at Nick Saban and Jeremy Pruitt smoking cigars, just respect but hatred at the same time. And what's kind of the pulse right now in Tennessee, especially with this is the second year for Jeremy Pruitt. I know 2018, not the best year at 5-7, his first year. However, you guys did get a win over Auburn, 30-24. You took out the number 12 ranked Kentucky, 24-7. But despite the fact that Pruitt was not the first guy on a lot of people's minds, you guys went ahead, brought him into the program. It's taken him a minute now to kind of get what he wants in terms of the culture, in terms of the recruiting and the playing style that he wants these guys playing too. But what is the overall pulse right now when you gauge fans on the appreciation or the value, or do they want Jeremy Pruitt there is my question.
Yeah, I look, I think after the first game of the season, when you lose to a team like Georgia State, everybody's going to get up in arms. And that's completely understandable. Georgia State is in the same conference as my alumni, South Alabama. So I definitely understand where people would get agitated. Here's the thing. They come out against BYU and they showed some fight. They lost because a defensive back got messed up on a coverage pretty much on the last play of the game. And that's a tough play to lose. And then, you beat Chattanooga, it is what it is, and then you go down the swamp, and Tennessee, if they were smart enough, they probably could have had a 14-10 lead at halftime, and who knows what would have happened. But, I think this Tennessee team really showed themselves against Georgia in the first half. Look, any other team in the country, they could potentially be folding up, shop, being done. Tennessee comes out against Georgia. They give them a fight. Second half, Georgia just got the tools to run the ball on them and wear them down. But then you look at what happened with the Mississippi State. And I think this is a team that finally put it all together, is the best way to put it. Offensively, they were just running the football. Defensively, 7 sacks on the day against Joe Moorhead's offense. They couldn't pick a quarterback. They didn't know if they were going to run with Stevens or Schrader. I just think it was an all-around great performance. And what it's done is it's getting Tennessee a little bit excited again, the fan base, in a sense that they know if they can get through Alabama, there is a path for them to make a bowl game, and then potentially some of your goals are still sitting right in front of you. Look, if you'd asked me that question 4 weeks ago, if Tennessee fans are ready to fire Jeremy Pruitt, I'd have said, hell yeah, they were. I'd have thought it'd been stupid, but they were ready. Now, looking on it, 4.5 weeks, 5 weeks later, Tennessee fans are comfortable knowing that they think Jeremy Pruitt is the guy that's going to be able to take them into the future. Now, here's the big one, though. You can't go out and screw this thing up towards the end. You've got to win the month of November and the end of October. If you do that, you're setting yourself up for success in Tennessee. But, hell, ask me that question again in 4 weeks.
We got Trey Wallace right here joining the show. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning into the podcast, in my own words, Wallace covering the Tennessee Volunteers for Fox Sports out of Knoxville. That's 105.7 on the FM dial, 1340 on the AM dial. Now, Trey, Tennessee brings in 2 quarterbacks into this matchup. Jared Guarantano, the veteran, and the freshman, last name Maurer. Both guys bring something different to the table. Guarantano, a guy that can run a little bit, very strong arm. Maurer, going back to the Georgia game, I watched him in that first half, really looked confident, threading the needle, precision passing to players like Juwan Jennings, Marquez Callaway, and also Josh Palmer. So you bring in 2 very capable quarterbacks. How does Pruitt plan to use both of these guys, and also offensive coordinator Jim Chaney? How do they plan to use both of these guys against Alabama? Will they rotate both? Do they feel comfortable with one? What is the prognosis, or how does Pruitt plan to use both guys in this third Saturday in October matchup?
I think, look, the problem that happened last Saturday was Brian Maurer decided he didn't want to slide. He wanted to go head first, and when he did, he kind of knocked himself silly. They said he had a concussion. I don't know how you have a concussion, then you're at practice the next day, but it is what it is. We'll go by what the coaches say. But he was at practice Sunday night. He was practicing Monday. He practiced yesterday. And I wouldn't be surprised if Tennessee's going to roll out the true freshman on Saturday night in Tuscaloosa. Now, here's the difference in what the 2 quarterbacks bring. Jared Guarantano has had a lot of problems throwing the football and not holding on. He holds on to the ball for about 2 seconds longer than he usually should. And what happens is your guys you thought were open are not open. And I think this is a situation where Brian Maurer can get rid of the ball quicker. Tennessee's got an offensive line that could potentially have some trouble with Alabama's defensive line. So you need a quarterback that can get rid of the ball. Brian Maurer is definitely more mobile than Jared Guarantano. He can get outside the pocket. He can scramble for that first down. Tennessee fans are just praying he slides. But Jared Guarantano brings you leadership, and he brings you kind of a calmness factor. He did go into Auburn last year and won a game for Tennessee. And he's had some decent performances, but they just haven't been up to par with what a starting quarterback needs if you're really trying to spark a football team. Now, Guarantano has not lost the football team in any sense. He's been in the program for a very long time now. I look at Saturday and if I was Jeremy Pruitt, I'd probably start Jared Guarantano on Saturday, start the guy that's been in these big games before, and just kind of see what happens, put in Brian Maurer, and then you say Brian Maurer for South Carolina. Like, if I'm being realistic. But Tennessee's going to go down there with a mentality to win that football game, and they're going to do anything and everything they can to try to do that. They've got 2 great running backs, in a sense of from where their standpoint is. I don't know if we're going to call them all-time SEC greats, but they're pretty good running backs in the SEC. Tennessee's going to try to use them. Tennessee's got two true freshmen starting on the offensive line that have to protect these quarterbacks. The problem is now, what kind of offense are you going to run against Alabama that's going to protect your quarterback, but also give you the ability to try to run the football and run the clock and keep it out of Alabama's hands? I don't know quite what they're going to do with yet. We'll go out to practice. We'll get that figured out. I'm sure Jeremy Pruitt's going to talk about this. But look, I just think that going into Saturday, I would go with the hot hand right now in the sense of who's going to be able to be the leader on the field at the right time. And I think that's Garantano. But they are going to be switching up these quarterbacks, I think, and you're going to see two different types of guys on Saturday night.
Now, Trey, of course, you've been involved in the Jeremy Pruitt press conferences this week. You've been involved in player interviews this week. In terms of how do we go about attacking Alabama? What's been kind of that whole scheme or that whole form of the operation? What schemes offensively, defensively that Jeremy Pruitt's been talking about? If we do this, if we run this, if we come out like this gives us the best chance of creating an opportunity to, give Alabama a good push. What's been the strategy offensively and defensively that Pruitt and his staff are drawing up for this week?
They got to run the football. They got to figure out a way to run the football. And if that's getting it to the outside and trying to the Alabama linebackers are so fast, but if it's trying to, go one-on-one on the outside with a linebacker or a corner, then potentially you try to make that happen. Tennessee's going to come out. They're going to throw a lot of slants. They're going to throw a lot of outs. They're going to try to test Alabama deep early. And here's one thing that Tennessee does have. Tennessee has got themselves a wide receiver core that I think can play for any team in the country. I think Marquez Callaway's that good. I think any team would love to have a player like Jawan Jennings, just kind of the dog that he is. And you got a guy like Josh Palmer as well, who can fly down the football field. If there's one thing that Tennessee has Saturday night that they need to use to their advantage, is getting that ball up and getting some 50-50 balls to Callaway and Jennings. If they can do that, maybe you open it up a little bit. I'm not saying Tennessee's going to come out and score 27 points and no crap like that, but what I am getting is that when you have the offensive weapons on the outside and the tight end, I might add, with Dominic Wood-Anderson, you have to try to take advantage of that somehow. So I would look for a lot of 7 to 8 yard outs, a couple posts over the middle, maybe some slants. I mean, I know y'all are used to that Tuscaloosa slants. That's all I see out of Alabama's offense, and it works to perfection. But I think that's what Jeremy's going to try to do. And also, game plan-wise is, switch the field. Use the punters that he had, Joe Doyle, or even if it's Paxton Brooks, make them serviceable, because I think Tennessee can do that. And another positive note, Tennessee probably has, I'd imagine, one of the top 3 kickers in the SEC in Brett Samaglia. So I think if you get into circumstances and you need points, I think he can get them for you. But it's going to be tough, and Tennessee knows that defensively. Tennessee's going to be down Henry To'oTo'o in the first half because he got ejected for targeting in the fourth quarter this past Saturday. They're kind of thin on the defensive line. I think you've got leadership at linebacker with Daniel Patulli. You're going to see 5-star Quavarius Crouch play at the inside linebacker spot while they wait for Henry to be able to come back in the game in the second half. And then you look at what Tennessee has in the secondary. They lost Trayvon Flowers, a safety, this past week to a broken ankle in the game against Mississippi State. But I think Tennessee was so deep in secondary that I think they're going to be able to fill somebody in alongside Nigel Warriors. So it's going to be an interesting game to see how Alabama attacks Tennessee. But from a Tennessee standpoint, I think you just got to blitz. Try to make Tua uncomfortable. If you can, then you can see if you can stop that running game. I don't know how you do it, but you can at least try. And then we'll see what we get out of Saturday night.
Trey, you're going to be at this game. I'm going to be at this game. So we're going to probably have to link up, find each other, go grab something to eat, do something after the conclusion of this matchup between Crimson Tide and the Volunteers. But we are joined live via the phone lines, in my own words, hotline with Trey Wallace, covering the Volunteers for Fox Sports out of Knoxville. That's 105.7 on the FM dial, 1340 AM dial. But Trey, any last final thoughts you have for us today regarding this matchup, as I am so happy to have you on?
I think this is a game where Alabama fans should not be surprised if Tennessee comes out gunslinging, throwing the football around a little bit, trying to catch Alabama off guard. I also think this is a game where you're going to see an offensive line. Look, Alabama produces huge defensive linemen. That's what they do. And there are certain spots in Tennessee's offensive line that Alabama can take advantage of. They won't take advantage of Trey Smith. That's one thing they won't do. Trey Smith that's a story that I think anybody can get around. A player that's dealt with blood clots twice in his college football career and decided, you know what, I want to play football, and has come back. And now he looks like the beast that he was his freshman season. So there's a lot of different storylines going into this one. I'm sure a lot's going to be made up of Jeremy and Nick Saban over the next couple of days, and as it should be. But this one's going to be a fun one on Saturday night, at least for the first half, I'm hoping. So I look forward to getting down there, Stephen. We'll definitely get together. And hell, by the time this thing's over with, man, we'll be getting breakfast. So we'll do something.
He's Trey Wallace, everybody, covering the Tennessee Volunteers for Fox Sports Knoxville, 105.7 FM, 1340 on the AM dial. Trey, appreciate you so much for coming on. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, buddy. See you down in Tuscaloosa. I appreciate it.
What's up, college football fans? You can catch the hottest show in the streets, that being In My Own Words, the podcast, every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Subscribe to Touchdown Alabama magazine for the best in Tide football.